Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Ace and I got more TF2 commentary. Playing some soldier using the Mangler, gunboats and of course the escape plan. And this video will be about, well, the Mangler. A lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video about the Mangler ever since I made my video about the Righteous Bison. Just keep in mind guys, videos like these are my 2 cents and are most likely to be founded in a certain serious gameplay perspective or a competitive play perspective, because I do follow a lot of competitive stuff. I don't play competitive myself anymore, never did actually. I did do a lot of lobbies at some point, but it just becomes too much of a hassle to actually have a good team that you can rely on and train with and actually put some effort into it, compared to getting a group of friends together and actually try to make a dent in all those competitive groups that have been training with each other for quite some time. Nonetheless, the Mangler on its own, if you just give it a glance, as you can see on the screen right now, the stats should be displayed. You can definitely tell that it looks like it's potentially better. Unfortunately, I have to disagree with that first statement, because if you really start looking into the stats, you can definitely find it not being as good as it is. First of all, if you look at the amount of rockets it has, because this is why a lot of people actually argue with me that it is potentially better. It has 5 rockets to shoot, or 5 laser balls if you want to call it that way, because you're not shooting rockets, you're shooting lasers. This is also why you don't have any ammo or any requirement for ammo. It's a laser weapon. And within TF2, laser weapons don't ever need ammo. So I guess you can get that as a bonus. Not that it really matters 9 out of 10 times. Nonetheless, it is nice. So you have 5 rockets, but they go at a 10% damage penalty on players, which is kind of significant. Of course, you will do more damage compared to the stock rocket launcher. Very, very funny shot right there as well on that rocket jumper. Nonetheless, if you are going to shoot your 5 rockets at a specific target, you will do more damage with the Mangler. But this requires to have 5 shots. If you are just going to use 4 shots, you will do less damage. And this is kind of the main problem that I have with the Mangler, is that you have to have you always have a need for that additional shot to do more damage than you can do with a regular rocket launcher. And within games like TF2 or any general FPS, you want to go with the weapon that does the most damage, the most reliable. And of course I think that the rocket launcher does that a little bit better, considering everything's balanced around the stock rocket launcher, hence it's the stock rocket launcher. Nonetheless, 5 rockets can also be very, very useful due to the fact that you can easily rocket jump around without having to worry about having, well, still having ammo compared to, let's say, the rocket launchers that have 3 rockets, but you do sacrifice a hell of a lot of damage for it. And me using the gunboats is probably a very bad idea if I have the perspective of damage in mind. Also, in addition to that, you do have a 5% slower reload time. Now this is not as big of a deal as it may sound, but you can definitely tell if you are really used to the standard reloading time, to have a 5% slower reloading time, kind of a big deal. I would love to see a decrease in loading time, but that's just my 2 cents, and I don't really prefer to use the Mangler over the stock rocket launcher any day, and I have never really used it quite a lot due to this very nature of the weapon. Nonetheless, that's just my 2 cents. That's more of a perspective or an observation, having played with the weapon for a while, than anything else. Also, what I really dislike about this weapon is that it cannot be crit boosted, which that is potentially a very big deal if you have a decent team. If you have some good medics on your team and you are a decent soldier, giving you the crits, if they are indeed using the crits of course, can be so useful and so destructive for the enemy team. You not being able to be crit boosted with your rocket launcher can actually set you back, and that is something that is so unfortunate to see with this weapon. And also, of course, you can do 20% less damage to buildings, or you are doing 20% less damage to buildings, which also is very annoying because you don't really suffer from fall off damage when you are attacking buildings. This is of course why it's so so great to see that you can take out buildings or do a significant amount of damage from a very long safe distance. Nerfing yourself by 20% by using this weapon alone, kind of a big deal. The reason why this weapon is fun to use though, and something I perhaps should have mentioned earlier, is of course the alternative fire, or the alt fire, which basically allows you to use all your ammo in a charged mega shot, which kind of looks cool. Or at least when it explodes on impact, it has this nice laser explosion, which kind of looks cool. And also it does mini crits, as well as igniting people that get hit by the blast, or the blast radius, as well of course also having the ability to disable buildings for 4 seconds. Now, you can argue that may be potentially better to be able to disable buildings, and it's very satisfying to use your alternative fire, but you are putting yourself at risk by sacrificing all your ammo. And if you are in a position like me, by only using my gunboat, you are even putting yourself at more risk. And in addition to that, you have to charge your shot, which means you have to walk around quite slowly for a bit. And in addition to that, you also basically have to stand in the open to be able to launch your shot properly. So if there's a decent sniper on the enemy team, you are going to die before you can actually launch your shot. This is what I'm experienced myself quite a bit. Nonetheless, it is very satisfying though, and hearing those dings after you launch your shot of people being on fire, very nice. It's just that compared to the stock rocket launcher, this weapon cannot keep up. It's not as reliable. You have to put in more effort to get the same things done with this weapon, and this is more of a weapon that is gimmicky. It's more fun to use than actual useful to use. And that's my 2 cents, and this is why I would always prefer the stock rocket launcher, or even just the direct hit over this weapon. But that just may be me. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Just remember guys, these are my perspectives. These are not necessarily facts, but I do look from a more serious and potentially a competitive perspective. So take care and have a nice weekend. See you later.